my priest Lauren asked me. She was like, because I dropped out of mission outreach because.
All right. It would appear that we are live. Live. Check, check. 1, 2. Audio is moving. I like it. Here's my phone over there. Check, check. 1, 2. No. She's probably not the best. Yeah. Here we are. Here we are. In the column 15 coffee. Going out.
Nice evening.
Nice evening. You know.
It's chilly outside.
It's getting chill. It's starting to feel like fall.
This morning it was like 38 degrees when I left my house.
Yeah. It's starting to feel like fall.
This morning it was like 38 degrees when I left my house.
Nah, it got. I was like, oh shoot.
All right. So we are live. Do we have any viewers yet? We have one viewer. Oh, it's me. All right.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
All right. So everybody grab your phones. That's what we'll do. Oh my goodness. This is deeper than I thought it was.
Oh yeah. Those deep, you know them seats.
These things are trying to put you out.
Got my phone out.
Even though we're live, let's do it. So everybody just share the live.
Oh yeah.
To everybody. There it is.
This is so trippy. I'm watching you share it live on live.
Sharing live on live is crazy.
There's a bar in there somewhere.
I think I just spat it.
there it
Post it
is.
on Facebook first, because my Facebook is curated for this.
Yeah, this is crazy work.
Maybe
This is crazy work.
Is you're looking at your phone.
Alright, so here's what we can do. We're gonna do this.
Who has the microphone? Okay, cool. I was wondering how well that sound was coming through. It's a live thing, so I mean, hey, it is what it is.
I would say that was part of the plan, actually.
You guys are fine.
I'd say, to be fair, that was part of the plan. All right, let me share that live.
Now we go here.
I'm gonna post it on the Facebook.
Send it to my family group chat.
Mm-hmm. Instagram. Share the link. Bang.
How do you share? This is so humiliating to ask on live. How do you share like a YouTube video on Instagram?
So go to YouTube first.
Okay. Share.
Are you trying to put it on your trying to share it to people?
On my story.
Okay, so click share and hit copy link. Let me see, where's this group chat?
This is the most.
And once you copy the link, go to your story.
I promise.
And then, yeah, you want to make a new story, and then come down to like the screen, like the thing.
Mm-hmm. Lift them.
What's it doing?
Help me.
Oh, go to the home button. Go back. And there you go. And then what you want to do is you want to. Where's your thing?
I promise I'm Gen Z.
It's cool. Where's the thing? It's okay. So it's supposed to be like a list of like.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Things to do up here. Let me see that.
Let me see. I was about to say.
I had to say, what you? She broke it.
You touched it.
She broke it. Cool. Because it's supposed to be like the list of like icons at the top.
Yeah, well, just because she's
Oh wait, you gotta add the picture first, or do the thing.
You gotta hit create there.
Do that, and then there's a thing at the top of the screen where it's like you can add a bunch of stuff. Oh shoot,
Khalil.
My God.
As we're live.
As we're live.
You're live on it.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
And then you can change the thing as you want. I was literally just talking about Khalil. That's so funny.
My God. Welcome. Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Come on, join in. He's chilling at the campfire.
Yeah.
Sir, good to see you, my God. Yes, sir.
Oh, true. That's what we was talking about, too.
Yeah, fact.
We was edit that footage.
Yes, sir.
Good. We're literally live right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, man. Low key. Yeah.
Where's my drink?
I'm watching me on.
Yeah, right.
All right.
There you
One
go.
watching now, and it's me.
Come on now. Love the numbers. Love the thing.
What's up, man?
Fuck with this.
Yeah, just slam
It's an
yesterday,
ace of
right?
spades.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, how was
That's
it?
what I pulled that quiz out.
Ace of spades.
Yeah, we already look at this.
Really?
Yeah, and I pulled the
Did y'all have a slam though? Did y'all do it?
ace. Draw my ace.
Open mic. There you go.
Hey.
Makes sense.
This the second week of November. Got to it. So I'm just gonna promote that.
Promotion.
Because like trying to tap into that Virginia State, but like we're going out of Michigan, the rest of the people.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Tap into Virginia State.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Love to see it.
I'm ready when you are if you want to start the pod.
Yeah.
We ready to go?
Sure am. I just finished sharing.
All right.
Wait. I got it. Yeah, we ain't even. We just been.
we've been
we just
sharing.
been chilling.
sharing a lot of people.
We've been chilling.
Yeah.
I'm late, bro.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We have posted it.
Nice not. When you go to YouTube and you go to the live, you just hit the little share thing, and then you can share it to Facebook, whatever you want to do. If you want to share it on Instagram, you just hit copy link, and then when you go to your story,
Maybe a bit more
Story.
online.
Okay, so is y'all's YouTube connected through your Instagram?
so we are not live on our Instagram right now.
But
That
like,
is next
there a
time.
link connected to your YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole lot of that going
A
on.
whole lot of. When in doubt, just say yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Can you?
That'll get you in
Yes.
a lot of trouble.
Casual.
You acting like, you acting like we got people. Yeah, it's Bryce
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes, sir.
Fashionably
on time.
on
Yes,
time.
sir. Well, let me address the millions of people. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't noticed, we're here doing a live podcast. We're here sitting at the beautiful Column 15 Coffee. Oh, my guy. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're sitting here at the beautiful Column 15 Coffee. My name is LaCroix, aka Atlas. I'm the founder and director of Slam Connection. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Brianna. I am the director of community engagement for Slam Connection, and on the side, I do poetry.
On the side,
On
she
the
does
side.
poetry. On the side, she does poetry. Like a side of fries. That's a crazy word. Oh, hold on, my God.
Everything I do is on the side.
Everything he does is on the side. He's a dodecahedron.
I don't do nothing on the front.
He's like, everything is back pocket.
But I am Daniel on Instagram, Durag Daniel, director of artist development for Slam Connection. Also a poet, a coach.
Come on.
I've gotten people that's hitting me up coaching. I do
Yeah.
that. And
You should hit him.
I do the production. I'm the reason the camera's up.
Come on now. Listen. Shout out to the
Reason we're
cameras. Shout out to the cameras. Shout out to the cameras. So, real quick, we're going to jump into it. Like, today's topic is not really as complex as what we typically talk about. You know, we've been talking about how like poetry impacts community and like all the multiple layers of that. But today we're going to take it back to the basics. And I'm talking about bars, the good stuff, 101. All right. So how would y'all define bars? Let's start there. What are bars?
That's an interesting. So as somebody who came from, as like, I would say 75% of the poetry community, as somebody who came from a strong sense of hip hop, right? Originally bars was not just the things you say, but the cadence in which you say it, right? Like on paper, real G's moving silent like lasagna is like, but then the cadence at which he says it and the way the placement of the line and everything makes it a bar, right? But as I've progressed into like understanding poetry as an art form, understanding poetry as a craft, a bar is more so how well you can do a flip for me, how well you can do a metaphor using a poetic device. And it's in placement and timing, because sometimes just saying the thing at the exact right time, bar.
Facts. What would I say? What do we say all the time? There's a poem in there somewhere.
There's a poem in there somewhere. Yeah, bars. As someone who didn't come from like a poetry background, right? I'm not a poetry nerd in the slightest. I love poetry, but I'm not like a poetic device nerd in any sense. And I don't know half of it. I learned double entendre from teaching it.
That's a bar.
That's crazy.
That's a bar. If you needed an example, that was crazy. What?
You learned double entendre from teaching it?
I know nothing.
That was the double entendre right there.
I knew nothing. I knew nothing about poetry as like a process until I started teaching the Slam Connection workshops.
Yeah.
But a bar, so just very simple for me. A bar is anything that makes me go oof. Anything that makes me go ooh.
Anything that
makes me pause. Anything that makes me pause in the poem, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's a bar.
Come on now, we love the bars. We love the bars. I've always seen when I first got started with poetry, I studied so much battle rap. You know, I studied battle rap and the way they would you could almost hear and see the poetry in it. Like there's traces of it in it. But you could see how intentional. I think when I think about what a bar is, it's intentional. You know, it's not, sometimes it happens by accident. Like I learned double entendres by teaching them, but a lot of the best and most iconic bars are incredibly like intentional. Like you said, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's thinking that. I bring that up because today I want us to kind of break down, you know, what it means to write in layers. What does it mean to like when we go to these poetry slams, we go to these open mics and we see that one poet that gets up there and does the thing. And it's like, yo, I've never seen anything like that. Or how people are able to tie in these complex concepts into their writing. How do we how do we get there? You know, what does that look like?
I love that. So that plays into the workshop that I'll be talking about that I do for people, which is
talk about it.
3-dimensional poetry, right? Like there are only so many topics to talk about, right? Let's take the concept of Black police brutality, right? Or Black boys dying, right? It is a very 2-dimensional topic. On face value, when you see it, you know exactly what it is. 3-dimensional poetry is, okay, how do I look at this thing from over here now, right? How do I change the dimension at which I'm looking at this topic? And that comes into place of, okay, you want to talk about Black history, you want to talk about slavery. That's real easy to talk about. But what does that look like from over here? Oh, it looks like Hangman.
Right.
It looks like talking about it as, okay, how does Black history relate to a game that everybody knows and plays, but doesn't necessarily see it because they're looking at it from here. So whatever topicality that you have, even like the pain poems and the trauma poems, like everybody has them. You know what I mean? Everybody has the poem, but what makes this perspective different, right? Look at that thing and say, all right, what does it look like from over here? What does it look like from the other side? Ephraim Nehemiah has a beautiful workshop on it where he talks about, I'll never forget, this is when I knew Ephraim Nehemiah was a monster. If you don't know him, he's a monster.
Look him up.
Yeah, he's under your bed. Like, he's one of them. So he was doing a workshop and he's like, yeah, perspective. He's like, let's do a poem about domestic violence, but from the perspective of the smoke alarm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, now we're looking at the entire scene as a whole, and poetry is painting a picture. So you can paint this 2-dimensional picture, but who else is in the room? What else is there that saw what happened? And how does that change the way it looks?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like that because Because like I think about if somebody was to make a poem about slam connection, don't do it from the perspective of like me or anybody else sitting on the stage. Do it from the perspective of this slam.
Yeah.
All right. Because all of our open this plant, all of our open mics, our slams, like half of like 3/4 of everything we do happens right here. I wonder what these plants say. It's like, oh, they back here again.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of like introducing like anybody can talk about an issue, right? But it takes another level to look at that issue from another place, right? And I think that kind of leaks into like the word choice. When people talk about tone and theme, right? One thing I know about a lot of my writing is that a lot of my pieces take on a specific theme and they stick to that theme throughout the entire piece. But like some people, they can be in a couple different places at once and pull everything together, knowing your lane, but all at the same time, like, how would you say? Because I'm going to say you've done this a couple times.
Yeah.
How would you say?
I honestly, I mean, everything I've learned was from that 3-dimensional poetry concept, and my way of looking at it, because I do primarily like persona pieces, right? So my way of looking at it is how would I look at the topic directly through the eyes of this thing or this person. So for example, my Barbie poem. How many feminist poems can I write, right? As me, because I have my experiences, but what would Barbie have to say about it, right? My Hot Girls Guide poem. I was watching a TikTok live and there was a girl talking about, she was like talking about a makeup product and she was talking exactly the same cadence what I was talking about. And I was like, what does she have to say if she was in this position? And that's how I try to think about all of my pieces. I'm going to write it and then I'm going to look at it again through someone else's or something else's eyes. And that completely changes everything that I say. So I usually write it as me first and then filter it through that channel.
Can we get some snaps? You gotta summarize. I think that also brings about like my other question, like when bringing it back to bar, what makes a bar hit? Because I think especially like even like the not actual, like you said, like even just the concept of itself, like the idea of like we're talking about domestic violence, but from the perspective of the smoke alarm, right? Even just the thought of that concept is just like, oh, that's crazy. What makes it hit?
Relatability.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Relatability, because although you may have not experienced domestic violence, you have a smoke alarm. So now your perspective, you can get in line with this perspective of the smoke alarm more than the domestic violence. So when people focus so hard on the 2-dimensional trauma, it's going to miss people because everybody hasn't done that. You know what I'm saying? I have a concept I'm working on right now about drunk driving.
Come on.
From the perspective of the street light.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, maybe you haven't drunk drove before, but if I paint this scene with the street lights, you can still see it. You know, and that's where that relatability comes into play. And that's where slam poetry has its niche, its thing, where we're not just writing poems, like we're writing poems to be judged. We're writing poems to connect. Right. So now, okay, you have this topic, you have this thing, and cool, you wrote it, but how can I make everybody get it?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And you have to add it because I can relate to knowing what a Barbie doll looks like and being intrigued by you embodying a Barbie doll. Right. Same thing with the Dante poem. Right. Like everybody don't get the football references, but people have had a best friend before. Right. And you lacing the fact that your friend into the poem makes it relatable. Right. You know. Yeah.
Simply put. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I was going to say, in addition to relatability, for me personally, what makes a bar stick out is also if I had never thought of it before, right? Because for me, what I'm really looking for when I'm listening to poetry is to have my perspective widened. And I think that's one of the beauties of poetry. And that's a way that we can connect, is we can look into each other's heads and how we process information. And so if someone says something that I'm like, there is no way that my brain would have sewed those words together into that sentence, that's going to stick with me, because now I have expanded my worldview, my concept of the topic that they're talking about.
Come on now. Like, I think, man, I also think like when I think of like a good bar or a well put together like phrase, sentence, stanza, whatever, I think of a roller coaster. Don't laugh at me.
Mhm.
All right. I think of because I'm like the roller coaster by itself, it's meant to give you those G forces that that you feel in your stomach when somebody says something. But it's something about when it's one thing to just build a ride in the middle of a parking lot or something. It's another thing where you go to like Busch Gardens and the rides are built into the land.
Yeah.
Right. And it looks like the structure belongs there.
Yeah.
And you almost can't imagine the land without that thing. The same way when you look at how you put your poetry together, like you almost can't imagine a poem without that punchline, without that part, without that, like that grit to it, which adds to like all the, maybe the unspoken parts, the tone, the structure, and the theme, all of the things that go outside of the actual writing or the performance that just go into what is never said, but what is felt, right? Which reminds me, okay, so we talk about bars, punchlines. When you have a bar and you have a punchline, can we explain to the audience, to all the millions of fans watching online,
all million of them?
Yeah, all 1 million
all
of
1
them.
million.
No, but facts, like how would you define a punchline?
That's an excellent question. I think the difference being between a bar and a punchline would be that it's a longer form and there's a setup and then a hit.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of an example in my own work, and none are coming to mind because I'm on live.
No, it's also because you do a lot of ghost punches.
I know too many gay kids with bullet holes in them.
You do a lot of ghost punches.
Yeah.
Like, you just be like, oh yeah, watch this. Pow!
I'm like, sorry.
Like, but facts.
Yeah.
What you got over there?
Bars or punchlines. It's our holy grail. It's literally our holy grail as poets. Like I'm going to just assume that everybody's like me and say that we get upset when y'all don't catch our punchline. Like whatever line that we said that nobody reacted to.
If I hear no reaction,
I'm going to be sick.
I'm going to be internally
sick.
stomping.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's our holy grail because it is what we crafted it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the punchline is. It is I know poetry. I understand metaphor. I understand poetic devices. And I use them to craft this line that's going to, you know what I'm saying? It's going to blow up the world, basically.
Right.
And I think when it comes to the punchlines, right, there's different ways you do them. There's I'm going to, sugar, spice, and everything nice and chemical X and make this punchline. And there's also I'm going to say the thing, right? It's the juxtaposition of the poem where it's like, I'm going through all of the gymnastics of poetry, doing all the things, and then I'm actually going to just sit here and say, boom.
Yeah.
And that change of pace can be the punchline.
Yeah.
Or you can have this pace and then hit them with a little bit of alliteration. And alliteration can be the punchline, or a well-placed metaphor can be the punchline. In your poem, you have this very anxiety-ridden moment where she's being loud and drastic and all over the place. And then I know too many gay kids with bullet holes in them.
And it hits.
And then you let it breathe. You know what I'm saying? And then that juxtaposition creates the punchline. Whereas somebody like you in the Dante poem, since we're talking about it, you punch on top of punch, right? Like, end up not like his father, a West Coast Wildcat locked up on penalties, bar. Out the corner of his eye, he sees trips right, rolling, got to put his thumb on the safety to feel safe, bar. Because now it's down, set, hut, boom, bar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you stacking bars like that, that's the chemical X.
Yep.
Right.
I crafted this piece.
Yep.
These aren't just words that I put into my notes app.
Yep.
I crafted each and every one of these lines. And if you don't get one of them, I'm gonna be mad.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because you want all your punches to hit. Especially like in a slam. Especially in a slam, man. Like every punch counts. Every bar counts. Especially if it's close, especially if it's like If it's by this much, every punch, every bar, every little reaction, every moment in your poem counts. Which is why performance is so necessary, you know, in like slam, especially in the sport that we do. Mm-hmm. Now, I gotta ask, top 5, top 3 bars that you've ever heard, right?
That I've ever heard?
Oh, you can't ask me that. The thing is when I'm on the spot, everything loses. I lose everything.
Talking about.
I can't. Oh, my brain is white now.
It'd be like that.
Top 5 bars I've ever heard, bro. That's okay. Let's do this.
It's tough. It's tough.
Spit one of your poems.
In a poem or in a poem or a song?
I will point them out.
Anything.
In a poem or a song?
Okay. Anything you got.
Well, we can out the gate just throw Jermaine in there, right?
Facts.
Out the gate. Like, what are we talking about? Oh my goodness. Best bars I've ever heard. I'll tell you one of the best bars I've ever written.
Okay.
That don't get no cut. I was talking about this yesterday at Performance Playground. Oh my goodness, y'all. Listen. So I have a Super Predator poem, right? And people love the poem. I get so much love in the poem, but there's one part in the poem that nobody reacts to. And I'm like, y'all don't understand what I did there, right? So I go, I am a super predator like Dylan Roof. I like my dark meat from churches holy and my Whopper seasoned with gunpowder residue. That is ridiculous. That's actually crazy.
That's
a 10.
I react.
That's a 10.
That's
I like my dark
work.
meat from churches holy.
That's
nasty.
nasty.
A triple entendre.
That's nasty work. Listen, the punchlines be punching, ladies and gentlemen.
But everybody's still reeling off of the line before that where I say, what did I say?
Exactly.
I said, and they scream from the mountaintops and raise big fists, and we speak softly and raise big sticks. And everybody's like, And I'm like, that was lame. that was to butter y'all up to this one.
That was the jab.
That was the jab. Get off the floor.
I'm trying to think.
I love it.
The one that came to mind first was Ayanna Florence.
Oh my God. I already know.
Pigs will eat anything. So if they say I killed myself, make sure you check under my tongue, under their tongues.
Check their teeth.
Check their teeth for my bones. It's
It's
under their tongues.
Check under their tongues for.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's sick work. The first time I heard that, I ran around the room.
Oh my God.
I did a little spin. I was in motion. That was crazy.
Black Chakra said, and this is one of his like lesser, like talked about poems, the Muhammad Ali poem. Mm-hmm. Black Chakra said, hospitals celebrate Halloween every day. What?
Facts.
That's crazy.
Nasty.
What? Hospitals celebrate Halloween every day? Jeez. That's sick. Oh my God.
One of my favorite bars I've ever heard, battle rap, Rum Nitty. Mm-hmm. That man said,
we're gonna go battle rap.
He said he's like long round for cousins, long rounds and stuff, and they said ill in the lobby. I grabbed the nose running. I'm coming down with something. No, because he was battling. He was battling ill will. He was battling ill will.
The ill was like
it was that. It shook the room. He said long rounds. I'm stuffing ill in the lobby. I grabbed the nose running. I'm coming down with something. That was to this day one of my favorite bars. But what was it?
So much inspiration from battle rap. He'll tell you before every slam, I watch battle rap.
Facts.
Can I flex on my own bars since you flexed on?
Oh yes, of course.
That no one seems to react to, and I even try to slow it down. In Barbie, that's why I pray every day for a perfect body manufactured by Mattel. Ma, tell me.
That's crazy. It's crazy work.
No one reacts, and I cry a little bit every single time. I've tried slowing it down.
I noticed it. I've cut my poem so people could have time to slow down, so people could get to that.
I'll be like, Ma, tell.
It's like, look, I'm serving it to you.
Yeah.
But as we can see, like punchlines take so many different forms. Mm-hmm. I think the best punches are the ones that you don't expect or don't see, right? So like when we're crafting a poem, when we're writing and stuff like that, it's amazing when we can put it together and we can structure it in a way they don't realize they're being set up. They don't realize they're being led into it. I'll talk about one of my poems, the God's immigration policy, right? The whole punchline is the second half of the poem, mm-hmm. right? Oh, wait. Whoa.
We have guests.
family.
We have guests.
We got friends and family walking in the door, y'all. We live now. We official.
Yeah.
But in that poem, the whole second half of the poem, that's the punchline, because y'all, the whole point of the poem is y'all not supposed to be here, and the fact that y'all are here is like, I'm confused, and that's the poem, right? So I would say, like, to all my people watching, to all my people listening, like, when crafting your punchlines, please don't be linear, right? Be anything, but don't be just, unless you got bars like that to where you could just set up punchline, do the thing, do that. But
tomorrow, Hollow the Don, when he did the clip,
set up punchline. That's how you spit that. You just a candy rapper with 4 bars. That's a. You see how easy it is to predict that? So funny. That was crazy work. But the thing is, the key is to be unpredictable, right? When you're writing your bars, when you're setting up your punchlines, be very unpredictable, right? Because if somebody can see a bar coming, even if it hits hard, it's like, okay, cool, we expected that. But when you hit the, like in your poem, when you hit the, I know too many gay kids with bullet holes in them, you could almost see the words in the air when you say that.
Facts.
So I say all this because, here at Slam Connection, we are very community focused, right? And you kind of touched on it before, like talking about a lot of like issues like, say, police brutality, something like that. How is it that us honing our craft and us becoming better at writing bars and making better punchlines, what does that do to the community or to your scene or whatever? Like, how does that affect outside of us?
It creates, poets are so smart. Poets are very, very intelligent, and we don't talk about things we don't know. We do research. There's two things that are very endless and unpredictable. That's a poet's notes app and our Google searches.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
Because we are very curious, right? And what we bring to the community in crafting bars and crafting poetry the way that we do is perspective, right? Because a lot of these news articles and media and stuff like that, like all of their narratives are also crafted for a particular reason. And rarely is it about the truth, and rarely is it about making sure the community understands, right? But us being a slam community and our whole goal being to make sure that they understand, we have to do the right research. We have to figure out everything that there is to know about this topic, so that way we can bring it to the community. And then slam being that perfect medium of poetry and theater, like now we're talking about, all right, we're not just writing poems for people to read, like we're also giving them a show.
That's right. Come on. Yeah, a whole lot of that. Anything on that?
And I was just thinking about our Grand Slam, the Historic Triangle Grand Slam. My godparents came, and they had never been to a poetry slam. They knew nothing about slam poetry. And they pulled me aside after, and they said, we learned so much, and we're so proud that y'all are the next generation, right? Which was wonderful. But if we do not know how to, because like you said, poets are very intelligent, and we think in very broad terms. So we have very complex concepts. If we don't know how to filter that into a way that is relatable and understandable by the people in the audience, we don't get that response. We don't get people hearing our message. We all have a story to tell, and how we tell it is important if we want to be heard.
Facts. And I was gonna say, bars build buildings. The fact that we're sitting right here on this stage is a bar in and of itself. This stage, this room didn't exist when we first started doing open mics in the room right over here. So
you could argue that it exists because of us.
Point being, right? And if we weren't coming out here and putting our all into this, honing our craft and stepping on stage, even like to practice new stuff for open mics, if we weren't doing that and doing it well at a high level, they're not building another room just for us to come through. And because at that point, if we're just doing it just to do it kind of whatever, people aren't showing up over there. This room was needed because we were packing out that room. You know what I'm saying? us sitting here even doing this or doing anything on this stage that didn't exist as a bar in and of itself. So
Thanks.
I was actually thinking about that just before y'all got here. I was like, dang, we built this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't physically build it. But like
we asked to help.
We did ask to help.
We asked. But you know, insurance and stuff like that.
Facts. But like we're one of the main reasons that this space even exists, and there's not really any other spaces like this in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Slam Connection being the only like consistent open mic that's happening in Williamsburg right now.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have an actual stage to stand on, a place to do this, and we don't have to charge anybody to get into the door just to come in and do what they love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that speaks heavily about, the importance of, your bars and your punchlines. You're not just doing it for you. You're not just making it hit for you, because it's not just about that moment. Mm-hmm. Somebody somewhere is going to remember when you said that one line about the thing and the whole room went crazy, or everybody went silent because it was like, yo, that was crazy. People are going to remember that. And they're going to.
Yes, it is. It is the same way that, the intentionality of crafting a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with crafting a community,
mm-hmm.
right? In the sense
Talk about that, yeah.
There's a very, and I'm not going to say anybody's names or anything like that, but there's a very different concept of, hey, I'm building this slam community to fund my hobby versus I'm building this slam community to build a community. You know what I'm saying? To express poetry in the community, to leave a lasting footprint, not because I'm going to build this slam community just because I want to raise money so that I can go to Char. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's when that's your intention, you'll probably do that, but the community won't be nearly as great as it could be. Right?
Come with you to Char.
That part, we spent the entire last I was telling Lady Breon, who is the new poet laureate up in Maryland, first and foremost, the first slam poet to be the poet laureate. There's crazy work.
We love that.
Crazy
we love
work.
To see it. Yes, sir.
But I was telling her, because she was asking me about the movement and everything, and I was like, yeah, we don't have problems getting the community to open up a space like this for us, because we spent the time building a community. Like, we got into the juvenile detention center because we built the community. And we got into the summer youth achievement program because we built the community. Like, same thing with the library, same thing with Column 15 and all the new stuff that we're branching out, moving forward. Bizarros. Like, our venues come from us having a wholesome intentionality of, hey, we want to love people and spit bars, right? We want to be the movement.
Come on.
And it's the same thing with crafting a bar. Be intentional, right? Like, don't just write because you think it sounds good. Like, be intentional. Do you want this to be the moment, the only moment in your poem, or do you want this to be the moment people get your poem? You know what I'm saying?
Come on, we need that.
Yeah, that part. I just wanted to say
that. You better talk your truth, bro. Talk your truth. But but we need that, because like you said, it's gonna go past this moment if you really building for real. And I think I love it because, like, the Summer Youth Achievement Program, we go there, and when the kids hear the bars, they're listening with different ears, and then all of a sudden you earn their respect because they're looking at you like, okay, who are these people that's coming in here talking about poetry? But then they hear us do it, and it's so much different than what they're getting in English class, right? So they're like, whoa, like, what's going on here? So now, like, they're looking at us different. They're listening to us with different ears, to the point to where now we got kids that want to do poetry and perform, like, for real. So there you go. But that's pretty much it. If we could take anything away from today, hone your craft, because it's not about you.
Period.
Hone your craft. It is not about you.
It is not.
Because somebody heard what you said, and they're going to take it with them. And if they keep showing up, they keep catching the punches, catching the bars, catching everything. You might be don't be satisfied till they come back and bring people with them.
That part. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Like, on the topic of this podcast, on the topic of life, on the topic of poetry, do the thing. Just do it. Because, like, who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
This is facts.
And who else is going to do it the way you want it done? Like, you have a concept, you have a plan, you have an idea, you have a thing that you want. Do it.
Yeah.
It might not look the way you want it to look the first time, but this is, in fact, the first time. You know what I'm saying? Keep going. Keep going. Everybody starts somewhere. We all want to start off so great because we are inspired by the people that are great. Like, we see greatness and like, I want to do that. And then we do our thing and it don't look like that. We back off. And it's like, do it because you want to do it, not because you like it. You know, because there's going to be times when you don't like it. There's going to be times when it feel like it don't like you. So whatever it is you're doing, if you want to do it, do it. Do
and
it.
if you don't know how to do the thing,
ask somebody.
Ask somebody. Build your community. Find your community. Because, like I was just saying earlier, I'm in no way, shape, or form a poetry nerd. I knew nothing about poetic devices. I just had things to say, and I wanted to say them. And I came here, and I asked how. And that's where I got as far as I got, because I had ears who were able to filter what I was trying to say. And I had a community that could help me articulate the way that I needed to express myself to get my story out. And you need a community for your story.
You need a community for your story. That's a t-shirt. Come on now.
Speaking of t-shirts.
Oh yeah. If y'all haven't noticed, we got
out of uniform.
We got the Slam Connection merch right here. The I Am the Movement shirts. They are on sale, $20 a pop. We
Only $20.
Listen. No, it's not. That's a fifth of 100.
That's an hour of work.
You say that's a what?
That's a fifth of 100 right there.
I thought you said that's a fifth of lunch. I'm about to say, what kind of lunch did you eat, dog?
We eating lamb chops. No, but facts. Listen, we got the I Am the Movement shirts. We do not have a lot of these left. So if you want to get one, hit us up. Our Cash App is we're doing poems. Oh yeah. Oh,
we should play Which Is to Say.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
I'm
real quick, we're gonna end with one of our games that we do in our workshops called Which Is to Say. Mr. Artist Development Director, would you like to explain the game real quick?
So basically what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a noun is a adjective. No, wait. A wall is a
adjective noun.
Yes, a wall is a adjective noun, which is to say. So it might be a wall is a dark bag, which is to say, and then Atlas does the Atlas thing, which is to say.
And then talking to my dad is tough.
That's crazy. You're sick.
I gotta go.
That's the But pretty much you connect, you take the metaphor and you bring it into something.
He's really good at this game.
No, I'm really bad at this game.
All right. So you get to start. Okay, you start. You start.
Well, look, whoever starts, so we'll go noun, adjective, noun, and then you'll say the thing.
Okay.
So you get to start. And then we'll rotate that way. Everybody will get a chance to say the thing.
Here we go.
Chair.
Okay. A chair. Adjective.
Big.
Chair is a big moon.
Which is to say. Chair is a big moon, which is to say. Holds a lot of opportunity.
Okay, and then we just snap. And then we snap. Okay.
So, noun. Coffee.
Glassy.
Camera.
Coffee is a glassy camera, which is to say, when the shot is good,
oh my God,
it shows more about you.
Where's the
Listen, just go.
How did you get that, dog?
Listen, I'll be getting kicked out of places. I'm not allowed in places.
All right. My noun is going to be, let me think. Ball.
Okay.
Pretty.
I need another noun. Ball, pretty. Let's go. Red. No, that's
Who?
That's an adjective.
That's an adjective.
How did you just like
I can't
get
English.
yourself here?
Listen, you ever seen Windows 7 that crashed? All right, listen. You said ball. You said ball, shiny,
Pretty.
A ball, pretty. Floor.
A ball is a pretty floor, which is to say the sky's the limit.
That's a bar. I like that. I like that. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a round of which is to say.
It was a round of which is to say.
Which, by the way, you can play a little bit more of if you come to our monthly workshops every last Saturday of the month at the Williamsburg Regional Library. Like we were saying, everything that we said today about like bars and stuff like that, punchlines, we help develop that with sometimes even one-on-one, like face-to-face, like, hey, we're going to break down something that you've written or help you write something brand new. And we going to give you all breaks, all the jewels, all the gems, all the stuff. All right. And yeah, sometimes we have fun. Sometimes we play games. So come through if you can. And it's free. Free 99. Free.
Only free?
It's only free.
That's practically free.
With the price of inflation? Yeah. Nah.
Free with inflation.
Free with inflation.
But yeah, like, glad you guys can join us. We're going to open up the floor for some Q&A if anybody has questions.
Do our two audience members have any questions?
They didn't know how many people were in the audience.
You weren't supposed to say that. You weren't supposed to say that, God.
No, it's because the other million are on the live stream.
Not everybody at once, okay?
I guess my question would be, if you wasn't doing poetry, what would you be doing?
To repeat the question in case I didn't hear it.
If the question was, if you weren't doing poetry, what would you be doing? That is an amazing question.
He like instantly like. Like
suffering.
Suffering is crazy.
I can't. It's crazy because poetry entered my life at age 24. I cannot picture my life without it now. I genuinely do not know what I would be doing. I think I was born here. I was born in this room. Well, not in this room. I was born in this building. And so I cannot tell you. I'm a year old, y'all. I'm 2 years old-ish. So I can't tell
It's
you.
real life.
A similar concept, but a little bit different. In the sense of, I feel like I've always been doing poetry. I just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a time in my life where like I was writing. Like, that's all I did. Like, I remember one time I had all A's and an F. That was the most trouble I ever got in my life. I've been expelled twice. Like, I've gotten plenty of trouble. But the most trouble I ever got in was I had all A's and an F. I had an F in writing because I didn't turn in my notebook because I kept writing, right? So I had an F because I was always writing, whether it was I was writing a story or I wanted to write a book or I wanted to write music or all these different things. And even the things that I did, whether it was playing sports, like, it was all done in a poetic fashion. And like, as much as I understand poetry now, I understand all of the different things that it encompasses. So it's like, if I wasn't doing poetry, like, I'm always doing poetry. You know what I'm saying? Like, so not doing poetry, interesting. But that's the poetic way to answer it. To answer it like straight up, if I wasn't doing poetry, I'd probably be attempting to do music, or I'd probably be attempting to just dive into like sports or something like that. Something that allows me to do the same thing that poetry allows me to do, which is interact with the community and create.
Facts. If I wasn't doing poetry, I feel like I'd still be here, like helping out my community, doing something, because I've tried to not be on stage. I've tried to be like everybody else. I've tried to be in the crowd. It doesn't work. I don't fit in. I'm a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've tried to just do what everybody else is doing, and it always brings me back in front of a camera or on a stage or leading someone or something. So I feel like I'd be doing a lot of similar things, just without bars. So yeah. Great question. Great question.
Any of our other audience? Hey,
Yeah.
any of our other audience members?
Not
We gotta-
gonna raise our hands at once.
We got a hand in the back.
Hey, yo, what's up? What's up?
You. No, not you.
Guys, we said we'll take turns. Take turns.
What is Slam Connection's creed and why do you care? Or how does that apply to you?
Our mission is to use slam and spoken word poetry as a means for community action. So essentially, everything we're talking about with like poetry is really just our bridge. That's our export. If one thing I say at our open mics is that we don't care if you're a dope artist and a trash individual, you know, because the poets that come out of Slam Connection, they're not just poets, they're community ambassadors, right? We have a thing, Vanguard. Vanguard is like an individual, like outside of like the Slam team, Vanguard is like a collective of individual poets that we plan on like sending out to competitions, like Chachada coming up, or like say Food for Thought, or Charm City,
Workshops too.
All the places, right? We plan on sending these people out, but it's not enough just to be a poet and go there. We plan on you're representing a city, you're representing a movement, you know, you're representing, because a lot of places you go and you're just representing a slam team, right? Which is cool. But here it's so much deeper than that, especially because in Williamsburg, there's never been anything like this. People have been hungry for it. People have been looking for it. But there's never been something here in the city. Like little things like the Poet Laureate program is getting started here in the city, right? That's never happened before. And Slam Connection is really on the cusp of a lot of like really leading a new age of the art scene here in the city. Because it's never been really consistent spaces for artists on really any medium to just do the thing. I think the sad thing is like we were talking about just doing the thing, but like we're the first people to provide a consistent space to do the thing, like because, and that's just really how it goes. So when we come here, like you'll find out like one thing about like our open mics, for example, is it's one of the few places I've seen where everybody stays. You know, a lot of times you get up on stage, you perform, and after about 5 minutes after you perform, you're out the door because you just kind of came there for the one thing. This is one of the few open mics that I've seen where people come and say everybody in the room's a performer, but everybody stays. Everybody's connecting. Everybody's like saying, "Hey, how's life going?" or whatever. There's an investment here, and that's what makes us different from really any other scene or anything else that's going on anywhere else. So, if I had to answer our creed, is that slam poetry, spoken word, all of that. That's our export. We're really about the community, and really also the next generation. We have a big emphasis on youth and youth programming, youth empowerment. We've done a lot for the youth already, just in the last year alone. So. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
To answer the second part of your question, which is why do we care? For me, I came to Slam Connection with an empty cup. Slam Connection filled it to a point where it was overflowing. And now it is my purpose to pour myself into all the other empty cups who walk in. It is all about repeating the cycle of that community and what it has done for me and giving it back tenfold to everyone else who steps through these doors.
The creed to me is bigger than the poem, bigger than poetry. And it always is, because our team isn't even consisted of all poets.
Say that one more time, please.
Our team, we have people on our team that don't do poems, but they come out. Like we have Kit and John, arguably some of the best photographers in the area.
They are the best.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, period.
Khalil's pretty good. I ain't know. He's sitting right there. That's why I was like, but
these are my best friends. I got it.
No, my bad. I didn't mean to go.
You're not put out here. Clear's catching straight.
Wait. Still. That's what I'm saying. We have a whole team of individuals that are here for the community and are here for the people, because like it's not just about the poetry. Like there are communities where it's like, oh, you do poems? All right, cool. Come to the slam. And if you're not good, they don't talk to you. You know what I'm saying? If they don't think that you are competitive, or that you could represent their team, or you could do the thing for them, and these different things, they don't talk to you. And then even if you are good, they'll be like, yeah, you can feature, you can do this. I'm gonna connect you to all these different things. But if you're better than them, then now you're competition. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for us, it's bigger than the poetry. And we build in that idea and that concept of the community is more important. Like, it don't matter which one of us make it, because we all did.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because we all a part of it. Like, Kit and John are just as much a part of it as we are. Larea is just a part of it as we are. You know what I'm saying? And Larea does poems now, but Larea did all last year, wasn't doing no poems.
We had to push her to come.
Right? She would come here.
Posting our Snapchat
she would post on the story.
She was trying to do everything but get on stage.
That part. And she's dope. And she's dope. But she's a member of the community. She'll show up, she'll run the table, she'll judge, she'll do all these different things. And before she even thinks about touching the microphone. And that's what the community is about. Now, why do I care? Because I'm from Detroit, right? Regardless of like the controversy surrounding me being from Detroit. Right? Like, I wasn't born and raised there for 20 years.
Show
and then
your license.
let them, should I show them? You know what I'm saying? But
I've seen it. It does.
I'm from Detroit. And at the time that I left Detroit to join the military, there was no poetry scene, right? So when I got back into poetry, maybe 22, 23, like, I was like, all right, I need to get better at this thing and learn how to do it. So that way, when I go back, I can implement it. And then as of recently, I found out that when I left, they already started doing that. So they have a foundation there. I don't think that the unity and cohesiveness is all there at the moment. So I care because I care about the community that I'm from. And I want to learn as much as I can from people that are doing the thing, so that way I can go and do the thing other places, right? And what Slam Connection has the potential to do is literally just revamp and renaissance what a slam poetry scene is supposed to look like. And not only is it an example for me, I just hope that it's an example for other people building scenes in different places. And then if I go and take this information and go back home and use it, who's to say who all I'm going to inspire and what communities they're going to do, which is why it's so important that, like we were saying earlier, we ask questions, we do the work, and we make sure that we understand not only that it's bigger than a poem, but how to teach people that it's bigger than the poem. Because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't teach it, it dies with you.
Talk about
You know
it.
what I'm saying? So it's like, which is why we do workshops. I think the workshops are more than any slam that we could ever do. If we put together our Slam Connection team right now and when it competed nationally, I think we do pretty well, right? But bigger than any of that is the workshops.
Yes.
Because the kids are going to be next up.
Yes.
And I know I wasn't a youth poet. I've heard the horror stories of youth poetry, of what that did for people that were so amazing, but didn't want to be a part of slam anymore because of what youth poetry did. And we are creating a different idea of like, hey, it's always bigger than the poem. Like, and your poetry is your poetry. It is never about the score. It is never about all of that. Like, do the work and it's okay. Right. And the community is always going to be bigger than that. And yeah, so always be long-winded.
Come on now. Also, the answer to the second half of your question is like, why do I care? I grew up around here, you know, and the amount of like people like in high school, for example, that got into trouble, that were in Williamsburg is not a crazy town. You got to go looking for trouble out here. And a lot of the kids that get in stuff like that, they get into it because they're bored. Because around here, if you're not an athlete, if you're not part of Virginia Legacy or playing ball for your high school, there's nothing for you. You know, there's no real youth programs or anything set up that's giving kids an opportunity to get outside the city that's not based in academics or athletics. You know, anything outside of that, you're just out. And there's so many kids around here that are just diagnosed as, oh, they're just ADHD. It's like, no, they have no outlets. And one thing I thought about, like one of the first thoughts when I started thinking about what Slam Connection is or what it could be, I'm like, we have to do something for the youth. You know, we have to do something, because I'm like, even if they're not all here, even if the platform is available, it's available. Because when I was here, Like if there was somebody in the city doing something, nobody talked about it. There was nothing here for it. So like on top of that, like I care because, like you said, nobody. If I'm not doing a thing, if we're not doing a thing, who's going to do it? You know. Again, this room is a result of us doing a thing.
Facts.
You know. So I care because A, it works, and B, it's not about us. The amount of stories we already have, like just over the last year, like going into that juvenile detention center up the road, it was crazy seeing like the kids, the young boys that was locked behind bars. You know, we don't know how long they was in there for. I think it was crazy to see like them open up and give them the chance to speak and give them the chance to write and hear some of the things that they were saying and introduce them to poets like Stephen Willis and Black Chakra and poets that they probably wouldn't have heard of. You know, I think I don't need to win another slam in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I have legacy. You got a 10. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So why do I care? I care because it changes people's lives, you know? And like we all say here, this is kind of a case study for what a slam scene, what a poetry scene could be, you know? Consider this the American experiment with a little less America. But a lot less. Build a strong enough foundation. But yeah, man, like that's why we even do stuff like this. There's not a lot of people in the room, but you know what, we're here. And shout out Dan, because we were low key. We were like, yo, we should go to Chili's because you know nobody's here. It's whatever. Daniel gave a whole motivational speech. It was like, you know what? Nah, we should just do it. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. And so prime example, right? This entire. So hey,
how many times have you not wanted to go to a slam?
Every time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, of being like, man, I'm not trying to go to this slam, but I already know what it's about to come with, the anxiety and all that stuff. But what about that person in the back? You know what I'm saying? That person I always talk about that person in the back. It's my favorite person at every slam. There's that person in the back that needs to hear what you got to say. And you're cheating them out of that opportunity by not going. Like, understanding that as poets, I was talking about this yesterday. So in case y'all didn't know, podcasts like these happen every single, like at every poetry event ever. It's just after and it's in the parking lot.
And it's
never
recorded.
All the time.
It's like, never recorded.
It's never recorded.
That's why we started this.
That's literally why we started this. But I said it to say, like, what was I saying? That person in the back and the importance of talking to them. And I mean, and doing the poem, because like everything you have to say is important, right? Like we as poets have this supernatural ability to speak other people's feelings better than they can.
Ooh,
right? Like,
come on.
There's things that people feel, but they never are able to put words to. And then they hear it from us and it's like, thank you.
Yes.
How many people have told you thank you after you've done a poem?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those people are so important. And I'm like, okay, it's not about the clout. It's not about they said my poem was dope. Like, no, you helped that person through poetry. So you not going and doing the thing. Nah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I go everywhere and do poems. And part of it is because I love competition, because I do love competition. Part of it is because I want to get better, because I do want to get better. But there's a part of it that's like, the more rooms I touch, the more people in the back of the room I touch. You know what I'm saying? So like, the more stages I get to, the more people get to hear my work. And I might speak truth to somebody that need that. I've heard poems as a poet where I'm like, I don't have to write that poem. You know what I'm saying? Like we struggle to write certain poems. Like I can't swim. And I've been trying to figure out how to write that poem. And then Tara Lee wrote it.
Fact.
And honestly, I'm not real truth. Tara Lee wrote it. And I told Tara Lee, thank you for writing that poem. I don't have to write it because you did it for me and I heard it. And like, we have that ability as poets. So going and doing the thing is so important. And we have so much important things to say and giving ourselves the validation and also giving ourselves the grace to be new.
Come on.
Like, because we are with this whole same community. Y'all are looking at the OGs. We're the OGs. And we've been doing slam poetry for less time than black chakra socks. You know what I'm saying?
like maybe 10 years combined.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe,
Like,
yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
and we're the OGs for this scene. So it's like we need to give ourselves the grace to be new, but also not take ourselves out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew, we understand that. We understand that, you know, building a community takes time. But what we're not going to do is not do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're here for. That's what the movement is. Is starting. The movement starts with a pebble. You know what I'm saying? And it turns into an avalanche.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Uh-oh.
Like,
it starts spitting that poem.
That's all.
But yes, to answer your question, we care because it's simply bigger than us. Especially in this city. But yeah. That's, hey guys, I think that's our show.
That is our show.
I think that's our show.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, like we said, as far as the month of October, we have one more event this month. The free and open to the public workshop, Williamsburg Regional Library. We are in the library theater.
2 more events.
Excuse me. Hold on. Wait. I'm bugging right now. Can you explain?
I'm like, hold on, man.
Wait, hold on. Can you explain this other event that we forgot to mention?
We have another event at Bizarro's Deli, my favorite event. Of the month.
Yeah.
It's our Underground Slam.
Yeah.
It is where we love people and spit bars, but we love the bars a lot there. The people show up.
We spit bars and we love people.
Yeah.
We gotta do
we don't spit people. We don't do that.
No.
It's not there.
We do love bars.
Yes, we
Come
do
on
love bars.
now.
But it is an underground slam. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts between 8 and 8:30. We understand poets, you know what I'm saying, which is why we have the place for the entirety of the night. So show up, show out. We got food. The kitchen is open. Philly cheesesteaks are immaculate.
Bizarro's Deli is like
Bizarro's Deli.
Get the banana pudding if you get nothing else in your life.
Yo.
Bizarro's Deli banana pudding.
Yo, I was talking to the girl at the register. She was like, yeah, this is my grandma's recipe. I'm like, is all of this the family recipe? Yeah. I'm like, oh, so this is the family reunion.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, so come out to Bizarro's Deli, 7:30 on Sunday, right? The 20th. 7:30 to 20th. We're going to have music, dope poets. It's a head-to-head kind of thing. You also get a cash prize if you win. Really, really dope. We also have this thing where a lot of our poets can't necessarily make it out to our slams just because of scheduling issues on that Friday at 5:30. So what we're doing is we're doing a point system through the underground. If you would like to participate in our Grand Slam, but can't make it on the Fridays, but can get enough points out of the underground, you will be welcome to our Grand Slam, which will be at the Kimball Theater, which is going to be amazing. So show up to our Underground Slam. It's about family, it's about food, and it's literally just the grown folks part of the party. That's all it is. Like the slam is like, oh, family. Then the grown folks table, like, you know, we ain't playing spades there yet, but we will.
Give it some time.
Give it some time.
Give it some time.
I might bring a deck of cards just to get it cracking.
But yeah, man, listen, Slam Connection, we have things going on pretty much every Friday up until like December. And even then we're pretty much steamrolling it like right into like the winter break. So listen, follow us on all the socials on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube. Stay tuned because there's a movement happening right here in Williamsburg, Virginia, and you do not want to miss out on it. So, that's our show.
That's our show.
All right, thank you. Save money, live better. No, copyright infringement. Love people, spit bars. Slam Connection.
Love you guys.
Yep. We're gonna be live for the next 10 seconds until I hit stop live. So yeah, cool.
It's like post credits. Post credits. But yes, we are here. We are here. Who is calling me?